I'm Saeed, the Codogrammer, and I'm back with another developer news, the first one of 2024. So the main headlines for today: tech layoffs continue, but the pace is slowing. Apple releases XCode 15.2 with Vision Pro headset support. The VMware acquisition by Broadcom results in job losses and nervous clients. JetBrains have launched their AI assistant to a mixed reaction, but does it have a stronger USB than competitors? Rust 1.75.0 released to growing popularity amongst developers. And Docker acquires AtomicJar, the company behind Testcontainers. Now, the first story we're going to look at is the tech layoffs that have happened in 2023 and continued into 2024. So there were 240,000 tech layoffs in 2023, which was 50% higher than 2022. Now, the layoffs have slowed, but already in 2024, we've seen YouTube eliminating jobs, Google laying off hundreds of employees, and many more announcements. You can see on this chart that the pace of layoffs did slow throughout 2023. Now, into 2024, this article states that there have already been more than 7,500 layoffs in the tech industry in just the first 17 days of 2024. So I expect that number to potentially already be higher, unfortunately. And if you look further down, you can see a breakdown of some of the companies where these layoffs have taken place. One that's recently been spoken about quite a lot is Humane, which is also backed by Sam Altman of OpenAI. And you can see Amazon talking about layoffs at Prime Video and Amazon MGM Studios. Google has also cut jobs, and there are many others, including Audible, Discord, and others. Now, in terms of why these layoffs are occurring, you can see that in early 2023, there was a lot of layoffs and that kind of slightly tailed off towards the end, but there was already a strong momentum. Some of it will be that momentum of efficiency cuts continuing into 2024. But the other major contributor is the shift in focus towards generative AI. It seems that every company now is an AI company, and a lot of resources will have shifted towards AI. And whenever there's this kind of technical priority shift, it's likely that jobs would be impacted. You can see here this article mentions that both Google and Amazon are aggressively investing in their AI efforts. Google, which is trying to close the gap with Microsoft in the AI race, last month unveiled its long-awaited Gemini model. By the way, I made a video about Google's Gemini model, so if you're interested to know more about that, then make sure you check that out. And it continues whilst Amazon is developing a model codenamed Olympus to compete with ChatGPT maker OpenAI's GPT-4 model. So what does all of this mean? Well, my own prediction is that while money will pour into AI tech, more traditional tech will be consolidated by way of acquisitions, and efficiency cuts will continue. But let's watch this space. Apple have released XCode 15.2 with Vision Pro support. Now, this goes in line with the new Vision Pro headsets from Apple, which are now available to pre-order at a mere $3,499 And XCode 15.2 includes integration with Vision OS SDK. This means that developers can now create experiences for the Vision Pro headsets for their apps. The Apple Vision Pro App Store is also now open for submissions, allowing developers to showcase their Vision OS creations. iPhone and iPad apps will automatically be added to the Vision Pro App Store unless developers specifically opt out. So apps will still continue to work, but they can be updated and fine-tuned to create pretty incredible experiences for users. You can see what these look like from their pretty slick marketing material. They look pretty comfortable, to be fair, and you can continue to see what's in the room around you. Yeah, they look pretty good. So you can imagine sitting in your living room and you can see all of your apps like that. You can get an impression of what it looks like from these images here. Now, I do think it looks quite goofy. I can't imagine sitting with other people whilst wearing this and trying to talk to them at the same time and try and keep a straight face. But the actual experience shown and what it could look like, multiple monitors projected all around you, different backgrounds, different environment created around you, it does look pretty incredible and could be pretty amazing for productivity. Now, I'm not a big user of VR headsets and they've not particularly appealed to me up until now. This does look pretty impressive and I would say it's appealing in all ways except for the price tag. But I am tempted. Let me know in the comments below if you think I should get one and do a review, and if you have any plans to buy it or whether you think the price is prohibitive. And also, I've seen people comment online that they're going to wait a few more generations of this product. So in November 2023, VMware was acquired by Broadcom in a $69 billion acquisition. Now, this resulted in some job losses which were anticipated. Now, I did make a video not that long ago looking at how the acquisition was affecting staff on the Spring Framework team, but essentially the acquisition has resulted in job losses. Now, many VMware clients and customers have been nervous, concerned about their services going forward, and specifically how this could affect product pricing. In this article, it mentions that a top VMware partner CEO, preferring anonymity, expressed apprehension about customers being subject to price hikes and potential decline in service quality. But it's still pretty early days for this acquisition, so it'll be interesting to see how the dust settles and how that affects clients or VMware. JetBrains have launched an AI assistant. Now, I also made a video reviewing the AI assistant from JetBrains recently, and it was pretty impressive, but not perfect. It's an AI coding assistant similar to GitHub Copilot and priced at $10 a month. Now, this is a very tightly integrated product that can help with more than just code. Tired of thinking up your own code commit messages? Well, you don't need to worry about that anymore. You can let the AI assistant generate them for you. Now, one key differentiator of this AI assistant is that it's not a single AI, but rather it farms out requests to the best AI for the job. That could be OpenAI's GPT-4, or it could be Gemini from Google, or their own custom AIs. Now, I've seen folks complaining about it online, and my own review was mixed to say the least. But I think some of this can be put down to the fact that the product is still quite new and probably needs to be tuned a bit. But I think given the fact that it's so tightly integrated with JetBrains IDEs, if you happen to be a JetBrains user, it may in the long run be the best option. A new version of Rust 1.75.0 has been released. Now, in case you didn't know, Rust is a very popular language of late. It's very much admired and making major headway into web development. Now, in terms of this release, it now supports async fun and return position infiltrate in traits, albeit with some initial limitations. Additionally, new pointer by offset APIs have been introduced for more convenient operations with by offsets. Now, this release also brings code layout optimizations for the Rust compiler, specifically for these compilers to improve efficiency. Several other APIs have been stabilized, including those related to atomic operations, file times, IP addresses, and more. Now, if you want to know more about this release in depth, there's a really good YouTube video which goes into a lot more detail. 54 highlights in 20 minutes from Nathan Stocks. I will link to this in the description below. And finally, Docker has acquired AtomicJar, the company behind Testcontainers. Now, AtomicJar is a New York-based privately held company. They're the folks who brought you Testcontainers, which I've personally used a lot. Now, they're actually quite an interesting company. You can still read about them here on their website, even though they've been taken over by Docker. The website is still there, and I suspect it will be for some time. They've been bought for an undisclosed sum, but hopefully the experience of using the open source Testcontainers library should continue to not be harmed. At least I hope so. Now, Testcontainers is open source. It's an open source framework, and you can spin up all kinds of instances of databases, brokers, browsers, etc. using Docker in order to be able to run your tests. If you're a developer who writes tests and you haven't heard of Testcontainers, I highly recommend checking it out. All right, so there's lots happening in the tech industry. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you do not want to be the last to know about important AI, tech, and programming news, then be sure to hit subscribe. Thank you for watching.